Listen to my commands. My break command, I want you to stop punching, step back. I want you to protect yourselves at all times. Watch the low blows, watch your heads. Remember the standing 8 count and 3 knockdown rules up to the referee's discretion. I want good sportsmanship throughout this bout. Understood? Any questions? Shake hands, go back to your corner.
But as Gerald Hayes may feel the pressure, so does Bernard Taylor on the brink of an opportunity of getting a championship title fight under his belt. He's got a tough customer. Again, he'll come out in the black with the green stripe, and his opponent, Gerald Hayes, will be in the white with the red stripe. And Gerald from East Orange, New Jersey, Knoxville, Tennessee, the home of the BT Express, Bernard Taylor.
One of the surprises that Gerald Hayes may find is that back in '81 when he fought Bernard Taylor, Taylor was much more of a mover and strictly a boxer. Now, Bernard Taylor sets down on his punches a lot better. He's worked with the Nautilus system, gained some more upper body strength, and I think this is a little different fighter than Hayes faced a few years ago.
Hayes, of course, in his last 2 fights, as we documented at the top of the show, coming up with a win over Juan Laporte, who was one of the featherweight champions. And then, of course, losing on a knockout in the 10th round. And you saw it on the replay there a moment ago, to Pedroza down in Panama. A fight that kind of surprised a lot of people that it was stopped at the time it was stopped.
Well, first it was a surprise that Hayes had done so well against Pedroza, although I guess it shouldn't have been, because even in the losing to those other champions and beating Laporte, of course, he'd look good. But Hayes felt it should not have been stopped. He felt that it was a little bit early. A matter of discretion of the referee. Now, Gerald Hayes has a very good overhand right. He's using it this first round and occasionally getting it in. Now, that one was slipped by Taylor.
Well, watch that lunging overhand right indeed from Hayes, because right now early Bernard Taylor, Al, it appears, has tried to counter with an uppercut. So we'll see if that lunging right hand will run Hayes into some trouble here. And he ran him into a left hand.
In with wild abandon, because Taylor will counterpunch him and hit him with power.
Halfway through the first round of our main event tonight, Bernard Taylor, the BT Express, on track for a title shot. Gerald Hayes, the switchman down the way, may throw the wrong switch here tonight, though. We'll find out as we're fighting in round 1.
Taylor expected Hayes to come out and quote-unquote jump on me, as he said, and that's pretty much what Hayes has tried to do. He landed a few good shots, but Bernard has counterpunched well also.
Taylor battling away here. Hayes trying to do what he can, again, with that straight right hand, which is his big weapon. Spooked it a little bit here tonight on a right hook type situation, trying to get in on Taylor. Taylor with the uppercut has been his best weapon so far here in round 1. There he throws it again as Hayes comes storming in behind it, though.
Boy, speed is such a wonderful ally, isn't it? Whenever Bernard Taylor gets in trouble, he just motors away.
He's like the vanishing spirit on the Amityville horror type thing, which I was reading just the other day. It's there, and then all of a sudden it's gone again. And that's the way Taylor appears to be now, as Hayes tries to corner him, but has not been able to do so far in round 1. The main event is underway. Stick around. We're in for a dandy here tonight from Resorts International on Valentine's night. Fun was, let's introduce each other here with Bernard Taylor and Gerald Hayes, and now we get down to the serious business after the corners have exactly come up with what they wanted. Taylor goes right to work.
Good right hand by Taylor that made Hayes stumble, so you were absolutely right. Bernard Taylor said, I'm going to set down and show him that I can punch with power. And that's exactly what he did.
Now that has got to make him indeed one of the real big threats to indeed become a world champion in the way that he's been able to sit down on it. We always knew that he could box outside, but man, when he comes with a little power, that makes him almost devastating in this division.
Well, especially because he can throw such good combinations. Now, Gerald Hayes is a very tough fighter to hit. Laporte found it out. Pedroza found him tough to hit. So he has good defensive skills, and he is the kind of a fighter that right now at Taylor's stage in Taylor's career is a dangerous opponent.
You see the write-ups in the paper and see Hayes' record at 24-20, and you may snicker a bit, and then all of a sudden you go down his line by line and you see 6 world champions he's been in the ring with, and fought them all, as a matter of fact, to the distance. He went lost again in the knockout in the 10th to Pedroza, won in the 10-rounder against Laporte, and all the other went the distance when he lost decision.
And the names of those other title holders will tell you something. Rocky Lockridge, Alexis Arguello, Bobby Chacon, and Lupe Pintor were the other people he fought. Those were all just wonderful fighters.
10 rounds with Chacon. Arguello went 10 rounds with Pintor, 12 with Lockridge before he lost the decision.
Those were all non-title fights, we just point out. Now on the inside, oh, good left hook by Taylor. See, that's what Gerald Hayes didn't see in the last fight with Taylor. He didn't see Taylor throwing those wicked body shots and setting down like that.
You saw the uppercut that time by Taylor was not there, but he quickly followed it up with a left cross and got right in on Hayes.
Gerald gets so low that the left hook is oftentimes not useful. You have to come with the uppercut in order to hit him.
Well, if there are pointers to be picked up on just exactly what BT is expected to do in round 3, the man in his corner, Ace Miller, would certainly pick those up. One of the fine fight people around, and he is in his corner tonight with the BT Express. 29-0-1, the draw with Pedroza back in 81. Good straight left hand. Taylor follows it with a good right hand. Ducking away from that straight left of Hayes that time. Oh, got an uppercut in on him, but followed it with a good left right of his own. Taylor coming back with a good strong right hand. Again, Hayes was shaken early in this round. Now as Taylor tries to even add more of the cobwebs in his head, we end round 2.
Yep, became a good weapon for Bernard Taylor. After he took a jab, he threw a good counter right hand to the head of Gerald Hayes.
That was the second very good right in that one round. In round number 2, Hayes took them both. The first one staggered him, as did that one. And now we fight here in round 3. Taylor became somewhat of a lobbyist, if you will, as he went down to Pedroza's title fight down in Panama and campaigned for that title shot. But certainly Pedroza said, I don't know if I want any more of you and I.
Well, Pedroza indicated through an interpreter as he took Bernard out to his house, and they had a very pleasant day of it. He said, you know, I'm going to move up, and I want a big money fight. And if somebody will offer me $1 million to fight you, I'll do it. But even Bernard acknowledged that is unlikely. So Taylor figures he'll have to get the title by beating somebody else if he can. As far as scoring is concerned, I have given the first 2 rounds to Bernard. The first one, I had reservations, a very close round. The second one, I felt Taylor won decisively.
I didn't know you were Indian, but nonetheless, we fight in round number 3 here.
I tell you what a night. You're doing impressions and telling these jokes. Must be Valentine's Day.
I did.
Have you called Victoria, your wife?
A very lovely call from my wife, Victoria, wishing me a happy Valentine's. And the flowers I sent, I'm glad to announce, got there on time, which I'm very happy about. As we fight on in round number 3 here in Atlantic City at Resorts International.
No hearts and flowers for these 2 guys, though.
None.
But it's turning into much what we thought, a scientific battle between 2 guys who really know their way around the ring. And, you know, it's very tough for, you take Taylor, for instance, fighting a guy like Hayes. It's tough to look that impressive against him. Not those champions, most of them didn't.
Oh, good left hand off the break that time by Hayes. Keep in mind, this is a guy at 32 years of age, has been in with the best. So if there's any tricks to learn along the way, he certainly knows them all. There is no substitute, as Al pointed out, for speed, and certainly with the strength now that Taylor has. But if there was a trick or two, Hayes, I'm sure, knows them all.
The other thing about Gerald Hayes is that at 32, he's a very well-conditioned athlete. That's why he's able to take all these people the distance. And he doesn't just survive. He's in there winging and doing his best to score points.
I'm glad you used the word survive. He was born in Newark, New Jersey, and even candidly says, I never lost a street fight. So he's a guy that grew up the long way. Well, here they come. They were heading right to us on the takedown by Taylor, if you will.
Hey, if you don't lose a street fight in Newark, New Jersey, you're doing pretty good.
Absolutely. Halfway through this, the 3rd round. Excuse me, 30 seconds to go. I think I indicated halfway through. Oh, left hand by Taylor. Backs up Hayes. Hayes comes out swinging with the left hand.
Now Bernard is putting his punches together. Straight left jab. He's starting to put his punches together.
You see the fine defensive move of Taylor as he backs away from that left uppercut by Hayes and then followed right in behind it with the right. And Hayes certainly felt the sting as we're in round number 4 now. Bernard Taylor, the BT Express. Gerald Hayes in the white as he fights on here at Resorts.
You can feel Taylor gaining confidence and starting to put those punches together. And there's that good left hook to the body. But he's got to be careful because Hayes can sting him. He had Pedroza down in that fight. And Pedroza's not an easy man to put down.
You can see Taylor, he does not want Hayes to get inside. He wants to keep him outside. He'll shove him away to get that hitting room.
You know, Bernard Taylor, in all his professional fights and his amateur fights, he is so adept at slipping punches. It's almost just like second nature to him. And of all the fighters around, I bet he's been hit maybe as little as any of them, you know, during the fights that have gone the distance, too.
Taylor, by the way, came out in that tomorrow's champions flurry back in 1980. And everybody kind of labeled him as kind of one of those guys that was in the shadows a little bit. But nonetheless, he has certainly proved himself not in the shadows. He's certainly in the limelight now.
Well, it's been, to quote the Beatles, a long and winding road for him, because he did get that title shot at the relatively early time, fought well enough to get a draw against Pedrosa, but then has languished waiting for another shot.
Kind of made a good comment. He said, hey, you get a draw with a champion. Not many people want you.
Well, that's true. Also, people criticized the way he got the draw. He was a safety-first fighter at that time, or at least people viewed it that way, and they think that it wasn't a real effort on his part to take the title.
Well, he's setting down on his punches here now in round number 4. So is Hayes, for that matter, and they have just been literally slugging it out here in the 4th round.
The quickness of Taylor is a big factor in these exchanges. He's just beating Hayes to the punch by just a little.
There's one thing about Taylor. He said he'll go anywhere, anytime to get himself a good fight. Certainly, we saw him up in Minneapolis, St. Paul on Thanksgiving Day. Said he's had to fight on Christmas days and all other days just to get himself some action so he can keep sharp and eventually get his shot at the title in 1985. Looks like it'll be the year. Almost a low blow there by Hayes as he lashed out with the left hand. Right hand glancing off of Taylor's face.
That's the punch Gerald Hayes is trying to get home more often.
Closing seconds of round number 4. Big right hand by Taylor. Hayes looks rather nonchalantly away from it and comes lunging in as he'll be on the canvas, but only by a slip here at the end of the round.
Motion, Bernard Taylor sets it up with the jab. Boom, there's the right hand. No chance for Hayes to get away from that. And that's what the hand speed of Taylor can do to you.
We're moving into round number 5 of the scheduled 10-rounder. The main event here for the featherweights. Al, I think it's rather academic the way you've got Taylor moving right on through the first 4 anyway.
Well, I have him winning all 4 of the first rounds. Now, it is very conceivable that some of these rounds are pretty close, that the judges may have 1 or even 2 for Hayes. So, in this instance, with a fight like this, you can use my scoring as some kind of guidepost, but don't go to the bank with it, folks.
You know, there's one thing about, we have mentioned the caliber of fighters that Hayes has been in the ring with his last 2, certainly Pedrosa and Laporte, but each one of those fights were punctuated by an 8-month layoff. And again, he's had another one of those here.
Good left hook by Hayes. You got that into the head of Bernard Taylor. But that's right. And for Hayes, that's rare because usually he fights a lot and had fought in previous years quite a bit. And so those layoffs could have an impact on him.
Right uppercut by Hayes, just getting underneath the defense that time of Taylor. On left hand, straight to the face of Taylor as he waded in. A right hand by Taylor. Has Hayes in trouble. He comes back with another right hand. Right above up, gives him with another right. A push off left hand by Hayes may have got him out of trouble for a moment, but Taylor is not going to let him out of that corner. Throws wildly with the right hand. Hayes has recovered sufficiently to try to fend off some of those punches, but 2 big right hands sends Hayes reeling into the ropes. A left hand to the face there. Hayes is a durable man, to say the least.
He is, and you see him trying to weather the storm, slipping and sliding on those ropes, and Taylor respectful, not just wading in, trying to throw combinations and get through that defensive Hayes.
So just as Taylor thought he had Hayes in a lot of trouble, now he realizes he's still in it here in the 5th round. Another uppercut by Taylor slips in on Hayes. Tony Orlando doing a good job of letting him fight on, and here they are in the corner as Taylor's teeing off on Hayes.
What body shots. A 3-punch combination, and how could Gerald Hayes get away from those shots?
Hayes is going to have some super glue to keep his head on if he keeps getting hit like that by Taylor through the rest of this round.
God, what a nice performance by Taylor.
Wow.
When he had Hayes on these ropes here. He just rips 3-4-punch combinations. When he does that, he's a hard fighter to deal with.
Keep in mind, the end may not be here. Oh, there is a cut now over the right eye. eye of Taylor.
The left eye, I think, Sam.
Excuse me, the left. It may have come from a butt here.
Well, or at least a clash of heads. Oh, that's dangerous to him.
Straight left hand by Taylor.
All right, break. No punches.
Against Hayes. Again, the left eye. The left eye is now bleeding. You can see it there in your screen. Closing seconds of this round 5. We'll follow him into the corner and take a good look at that eye in between rounds here as you see the blood streaming down his face.
It'll be important whether they determine whether that came from a clash of heads or from a punch.
Well, there's going to be some important work going on now. Biff Holstein jumps into the ring. He's the cut man in that corner. And we'll have to see what he can do about stopping it as Dr. Dogger will also go into the corner and look.
That's it. 1-2 seem to be working real good, Dave. Hear me? Okay. Don't let that bother you.
Okay, it's all right, BT.
You take care of that, all right? You take care of that one, too. You're forcing it through, see?
Early in the round, Bernard Taylor landed this good right hand, and that stunned Gerald Hayes. And then he quickly followed up with another right, and he really went to work on him at this point. Now, later on, you'll see some inside fighting here from Bernard Taylor that, boy, I just think it's superb. He goes with a good uppercut, left hook, left, right. Look at the quickness of those punches, and that's in slow motion. And the thing is, for Gerald Hayes to try and defend against that is tough. But a key story is you look at the coagulant around that left eye. How bad is that cut? And we don't know if they've ruled whether it came from a clash of heads or a punch. If it's a clash of heads, they could go to the scorecards if the fight is stopped.
We made mention that Dr. Doggett did come into the ring to look at the cut. He had a little short conversation with Tony Orlando. Keep in mind, here in New Jersey, the doctor has full authority to come into the ring and stop a fight here in New Jersey. The cut is not that severe at the moment, but we'll watch it closely for you as we battle in round 6. Hayes, who looked like he was just literally in all kinds of trouble in round 5.
Now, if you have the kind of foot speed that Bernard Taylor has, you might want to take a round, move around the ring, perhaps avoid having that cut get reopened right away, give it a chance to work itself out, and not engage in too much inside fighting. And that's precisely what Bernard is deciding to do. Oh, and he throws in a right hand for good measure.
You may have heard in Taylor's corner while we were watching Biff Holstein go to work on that cut that Ace Miller, very calm, very quietly in the background, telling Taylor what he needs to do in the round. And that's a very, very efficient corner working for Bernard Taylor. He wouldn't be here if he didn't have one.
And there's now some blood coming from that cut.
Taylor, now that he has that cut on the left eye, will not wade in, but you know that if he gets another opportunity like he had, he will certainly try to go for the kill here.
He's standing at long range and throwing the left jab and the straight right, and that's exactly what Miller told him. He said, the 1-2 is working, stay with it.
Halfway through this, the 6th set for 10 on our main event. Featherweights, Bernard Taylor, number 2 in the WBA, number 5 in the WBC. Expecting both of those rankings to go up within a month or two.
If he wins tonight.
If he wins tonight, indeed, yes. Seems like, Al, we've had a lot of those in the last particular few months.
Tyrone Crawley a month or so ago.
Milt McCoy, you may recall, we had a few months back.
Well, of course, Milt already champion,
absolutely.
But Nick didn't really want to lose that non-title fight. Good body shot by Taylor. Ace has landed some of those overhand rights to the head of Taylor in this round.
All right, break! No punch.
By the way, don't forget, when we return back here, we've got the Eastern Championship of the middleweight tournament coming up. Keith Boogaloo Adams and Ray Gray will battle right here in the arena coming up again. That'll be next Thursday on Top Rank Boxing. Also, Machine Gun Mungeon back on that card. So good night next Thursday.
What an uppercut Taylor landed about 20 seconds ago, and there it is again, but that one just missed. He is so quick. There's a right hand by Bernard.
He's setting down on that right hand again, Al, and he caught Hayes very clearly there. Hayes looks a little bit wary as he starts to lumber in the middle of the round. Well, round number 6 has evolved into just about what the rest of it has been. A showcase for Bernard Taylor here in Atlantic City.
Landed this incredible uppercut to the head of Gerald Hayes, and if that's not testimony that Hayes has a good chin, nothing ever will be.
Oh my, what a way to end the round 6 as they go into round 7. Hayes in the right, the mouthpiece goes sprawling out of his mouth with the left hand by Taylor. So Hayes will fight the rest of the round without the mouthpiece. Taylor going to work at him.
Look at those combinations. You know, the reason that uppercut landed from so far back, which is not the posture you want to throw it in, is because Taylor throws punches so fast. Hayes just couldn't catch it.
Bernard Taylor. He's got the boiler stoked up now as he moves into round 7.
Hayes has one bad habit, and that is he tends to lunge with the right hand, and Pedroza made him pay for it toward the end of their fight, and Bernard is in this fight as well.
Gerald Hayes out of East Orange, New Jersey. Both fighters roughly equal in their posture at 5'6" for Hayes, 5'7.5" for Taylor. Weight-wise, right on at 128.5 for Hayes, 127 3/4 for Taylor. 128 is what they were expected to come in at. And in New Jersey, it's give or take a pound, so no problems with the weigh-in today. And for Taylor, he always has really no problems on his weight in the featherweight divisions. Says he can probably get as low as 124.
He is a very natural featherweight, and I think will probably be for much of his career, though if he should win the featherweight title, I would think at some point he would be looking to move up maybe and look for a junior lightweight title, because that's down the road. It's interesting at the age of 27. Nowadays, that's old to try and win a championship. In the old days, that was when you were just starting to come into your own as a contender.
Good left hand, straight left hand by Taylor after they had broken. Again, that left eye continues to bleed for Taylor. Has to be obscuring his vision somewhat as he comes in teeing off on Hayes. Oh, look at those right hands. An uppercut. Hayes almost defenseless as Tony Orlando's going to give a standing 8 count here. Bernard Taylor back to the neutral corner. Very anxious to get out of it as the count operates on the other side. Tony Orlando turning, looking at BT, who retreated back into the neutral corner after the standing 8. He's back out after Hayes.
That very instance will be debated. Those that like the standing 8 say, yeah, it saved Gerald Hayes from a beating there, and those that don't like it say that he may have saved a victory or loss for Hayes. That Taylor might have ended things there. So.
Taylor almost measuring Hayes now as we come to the end of round number 7 as you see the closing seconds. Another fine round by the BT Express Bernard Taylor on Hayes, and more of our action will continue after we pause for these messages.
Hayes in trouble here and kind of winds up with this right hand. Really an uncharacteristic posture for him to deliver the right, but he knew that would land that way.
Well, after a successful 7th round, it's the BT Express Bernard Taylor back out to start round 8. Now I've got a little quiz for you. What's the definition of a split second? I don't know. Second is the time that the light turned green and the guy behind you honk, or the time it takes for Bernard Taylor to throw a 3-punch combination. That's sure. Just about how quick he is.
He is fast. You know, Biff Holstein did a great job. That cut is not reopened. Boy, he is there banging on the inside. And Taylor, see, there's the difference between Bernard Taylor of now and 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. He is standing in there in a fight that he could easily box and win. He is winging away, and I think it all has to do with the fact that he just feels his marquee value won't stand it if he is going to be as much of a boxer as he was before.
By the way, that blood on the front of the trunks of Hayes now is mostly his own. You may recall he lost his mouthpiece at the start of the 7th. Taylor battered him around the mouth, and he's bleeding rather freely from the mouth at the moment. And that was mostly because the mouthpiece was gone in round 7. So he, too, has got some blood coming from the mouth. The cut over the left eye of Taylor being watched closely here.
Now, there was a 2-punch combination by Hayes. One of the first combinations we've seen from him in this fight. He's mostly been throwing single punches, those looping rights and left hooks.
There you see that combination by Taylor as he comes in behind that left jab.
Play through the jab, the right landed, and the left hook just missed. But you knew one of those were going to land, and that's the point.
Scheduled for 10 as we wind it down here halfway through the 8th. Hayes very warily throwing punches now here in the 8th round.
He is lunging in with his punches. This is much the same as what happened to him in the 10th round against Pedroza. And Pedroza hurt him, as Taylor did in the last round.
Bernard Taylor again, who has fought so well his last one against Pedro Montera, could never put Montera away. He got a lot of work, went the full distance, as did his previous fight. So he, of course, is getting a lot of good work. And again, Hayes is extending him here at least through 8.
Hayes said that the hardest puncher he ever faced was Alexis Arguello, not too surprising. A weight above him normally is a featherweight, and of course a devastating puncher, especially when Hayes fought him several years ago. Right now, though, that right hand hurt him.
He's got him staggering back. So Taylor's right hand sent Hayes back to the ropes as he tried to cover up, and he is a little glassy-eyed at the moment as we look at him across the ring here with the closing seconds of round 8.
Let go of that heel. Come on, ready, go.
Taylor again just kind of picking his spots now. You see with a quick combination on Hayes. Hayes in trouble here at the end of round 8. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell except for the last round.
Those terrific tummies.
Taylor landing a good straight right hand, and I tell you, that right hand of his has landed more against Hayes than I ever thought it would. I felt he would do well against Hayes, but that punch has been there a lot.
You know, he indicated if indeed he does get another shot at Pedrosa, Pedrosa took a lot of right hands in his title fight down in Panama just a couple of weeks ago.
Well, he did, and that's the key. Pedrosa has had that long reign as a champion, and heaven knows he's fought some tough people and won. But you get the impression that Eusebio's slowing down a little bit. He's getting hit much more than he ever did in the past.
Lujan got the right hand in, and even Taylor indicated he said he saw a good 16 right hands that probably should have sent him down, but they did not. He eventually came on for the victory.
Well, Lujan really a bantamweight moving up, super bantamweight moving up. So in his case, that's really why I think those punches didn't have that big an impact.
But here with Bernard Taylor throwing those same punches and landing him would be a different story as Hayes gamely tries to fight back against BT here in the ninth.
Right now, Bernard Taylor is doing, I think, exactly what he wanted to do. And what he told us, he said, I just have to keep fighting, keep looking good, keep winning until I get my chance at the title. And he's pretty convinced that whatever the case, in 85, he'll get it. And I think I tend to agree, probably with some kind of box-off. But he keeps winning these fights, and he keeps winning them impressively.
Probably one of the best fights in a long time. Robin Blake against Adolfo Medel. What a battle that was on Saturday. Huh?
Superb fight, and that sets Blake up probably, in all likelihood, for a fight with Harry Arroyo for the IBF lightweight title. And of course, out in Reno this weekend, Livingstone Bramble and Mancini will fight with Tyrone Crawley, who we saw about a month ago, slated to fight the winner of that fight.
Big right hand by Taylor, getting it on Hayes. Hayes is worried now. He's trying to get out of trouble, but he's right in the middle of the ring to try to do so. Taylor has kind of let him off the hook a little bit. He hit him with a big right hand, followed it up with a left that just glanced off the head. Hayes regained his posture, and now he's back in the center of the ring with him again.
Bernard Taylor is such a good body puncher. That's something that goes unnoticed a lot of times. Good uppercut by Taylor, but he sets those headshots up with really hard body blows. I don't know if Gerald Hayes took much more punishment from any of those other champions he fought, because this has been, in my opinion, a very one-sided fight.
Good left hand by Taylor. He is not a one-handed fighter. He can hit you from a lot of angles. And with both hands with a half a minute to go in the ninth. Now the blood over the right eye of Taylor. He has got a cut on both the left and the right eye.
There has to be from clashes head side, because Hayes hasn't landed many punches.
Left eye is virtually not bleeding now. They've done such a good job, but now the right eye will be a problem in between rounds as you see the time winding down in round 9.
And here's where the speed of Taylor can be so important.
So as blood streams down the right eye after the left eye has been closed to Bernard Taylor, BT goes into his corner, and they'll look at the other eye now, and Dr. Doggett won't be far behind.
My left leg.
Just be quiet.
Sauce my left leg.
What?
My left leg got cramping. My left, that's my right. The calf.
Here, just be quiet. Let me get in here.
So Taylor with even more problems than just the cut, as he's now got a cramp in his left calf.
Do not trade him.
Okay.
Wow, look at that cut. And we'll see where it happened. You'll see Hayes' head come up. Oh, yeah. That's
what a great replay.
Yeah, perfect replay. And we've had some wonderful ones all night, but that one shows precisely where the cut came from. And boy, for Bernard Taylor, who's winning this fight handily, he's had some punishment in the last couple rounds, including, as he mentioned, a problem with his left calf, apparently a cramp there.
Now, if indeed the judges saw what we saw in the replay after the 5th round, then they do go to the cards if indeed would be stopped because of a headbutt, if they agree that it was a headbutt.
Right, if these cuts would be because of that. Of course, we're in the 10th round. I think that cut's really going to have to be a problem for them to stop this fight at this point.
So the 10th and final round is underway here at Atlantic City at Resorts International.
Boy, this will seem like a long 3 minutes to Bernard Taylor. The cut over the right eye, the cramp in his calf, and Boy, remember. Now, Orlando is warning, I think, is warning Taylor for using the laces of his glove.
Right. What is called the heel of the palm. He was kind of throwing it with the heel of the palm on the laces, as Al pointed out. He's warned him once, and now you saw a rather stern warning there. He'll take the round away from him.
Which Taylor can probably afford at this point.
You will see Bernard Taylor. He will tokenly fend off Hayes, but he would more than likely like to just bob and weave around this ring for this final 3 minutes. Very much in command since start to finish. A game effort by Hayes, who at one point early in this fight looked like he was not going to be able to go past probably the 3rd, 4th, or 5th rounds, but here he is in the 10th. Very reminiscent of what we saw from John Rafuse earlier against John Meekins. We didn't expect him to be around. And then Sammy Rivera stayed for a full 8 rounds with Darrell Anthony.
Apparently the cramp not giving Taylor too much trouble. A lot of people remember when Hilmer Kenty fought Villamar Fernandez for the lightweight title some years ago, winning handily, got a cramp in about the 13th round, and he was knocked down by Hernandez and had to literally struggle to finish the 15 and won the fight. But big
left hand. Oh, what a move by Bernard. You can see that right eye, though, is really opened up, and that didn't help a left in the eye. Now Taylor with an uppercut, trying to push Hayes back. He's only got a minute to hang on here, referring to BT. Hayes so far behind on most of the cards, it would take a knockout to win it.
We assume that, and I'm sure that's true. But now Hayes, good right by Taylor. Taylor says, hey, you may hit me here, but I'm not going to stop fighting.
Closing seconds of round 10 of our main event tonight.
Boy, the blood is just running from that eye. If ever there was the point to be made that Bernard Taylor is a different fighter than he was 3 years ago, this round is it. He is not just running around this ring. He is throwing punches despite the problem with his right eye.
Rip Holstein, great credit to him. He closed the cut over the left eye. Let Bernard almost go unblooded, if you will, for about 3 or 4 rounds before a clear clash of heads opened up the cut over the right eye, and it is a big cut, to say the least. But he has survived this 10th as we close in on the final moments of the 10th and final round, as Bernard Taylor trying to defend that number 2 ranking in the WBA, number 5 in the WBC. Unofficially in their cards, he's done it. But of course, the 3 judges, Eve Shane, Frank Burnett, and Frank Cairo, will have the official decision. The BT Express trying to roll on here at Atlantic City. Decision in a moment. Bernard Taylor and Gerald Hayes.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I give the final decision, let's have a big hand for Bernard Taylor and Gerald Hayes. Here is the official scoring from Resorts International in Atlantic City. All 3 judges, Judge Frank Cairo, Judge Eva Shane, and Judge Frank Burnett, all score their bout identically 8 rounds to 2. For the winner, the BT Express keeps rolling along, the uncrowned featherweight champion Bernard Taylor. And once again, a big hand for New Jersey's
comes up with a victory here tonight, almost matching the scorecard of that of Al Bernstein, who scores our fights at ringside, officially, unofficially, of course. But the BT Express heavy on all of the cards, and you heard one of them all by 8-2. He's got the probably future.